Yeah, I mean, it's kind of grinded that game out. It was, we knew Stanford coming in off the loss to UCLA, and you kind of don't want to go 0-2 the first two games in league play. So I knew they would, they would play really hard, which they did. My main issues, if you're upset about it, a game you won in league play, which you really shouldn't, is the turnovers. We had two little patches. In the first half, we kind of lost our way, and we had some poor turnovers. In the second half, we just, we weren't working to get open. We were, they were stealing it and laying it in. So, we were kind of giving away points from our offense, so putting, more pressure on you. So our defense was actually a lot better than the numbers even say, because, the offense, unfortunately, didn't play well at times. But I liked, again, how it's sometimes you could lose a lead and then more enormous game pressure, and then you can never recover. But the guys did and made some good plays out there to close it out.
Even victories, you had issues on the board, but today was an exception. What was the better effort on the boards in your opinion?
I mean, it's hard to really put your finger on. I mean, I thought Warren was great, with rebounding, and our plan was to try and speed them up, make them uncomfortable. Make them shoot a fraction of a second quicker than they want to shoot. So I mean, I'm pleased that we only gave up 13 offensive rebounds. I mean, that's good. When you're looking at one of the tallest teams in the country.
Yep.
You're 8-1 for the first time since 2018-19, 2-0 in the Pac-12 for the first time since you've been at ASU. So how does it kind of feel? Like, what's the calibration of where you're at right now?
I never was, and I don't want to say I thought we had it the whole way along, but I never was feeling panicked over there, or I just I have a feeling that we have a group that really knows how to win, and have proven that they can make winning plays. And so even as things were looking dicey at times, it's still, I trusted that we would find a way. But I feel good. I mean, we should feel really good. Not only our Pac-12 record, our overall record, and just what we've done so far, but we got to move on after this.
You talked in the past too, obviously, about defense and kind of the wings, and even in this game, I mean, there was some shot clock. They had some shot clock violations, shooting rush shots late in the shot clock. But how do you feel that, from this group where they started defensively, that they're receiving your message and responding to that in general?
Yeah, I thought the pressure was great tonight. The intensity of how we guarded them was good. Don't have any issues with our defense. It's what it's our bread and butter, and we got to play with that type of energy. And we knew on film that Stanford had shown that they, if you could speed them up a little bit and pressure them, that they could turn it over and. Or shoot tough shots. So we didn't want them to be able to run their half-court offense and use their size around the basket. So I thought, our defense kind of followed, the game plan we put in place.
It seems like this group has an exceptional ability to get in the passing lanes and get deflections, clean strips. What separates this team now from previous teams? Is it more personnel, mentality?
I've touched on our depth, and again, when you could keep fresh bodies on the court, I think we had one guy that played over 30 minutes, and so you're getting guys out there that are able to sustain a few minutes of high level, high energy, and then you bring someone else in that's willing to do the same thing. Then you're going to have a consistent effort, and I think that's it. And look, throughout the summer and even in the fall, when we're trying to run offense, I see Des Cambridge jumping passing lanes, and I was getting mad because we're trying to run and execute, and he's blowing everything up. So it was happening to me all summer as I was trying to run plays, and fortunately for us, he's now doing it to other people.
You mentioned Des, and I feel like he stepped up whenever you guys need him most. How does it feel to have a guy that comes up clutch all the time?
Yeah, he's played a lot of college basketball. He's got a lot of confidence, he's a guy that we could really that we trust out there to make big shots and big plays.
I know it's hard to compare, but if you look at the analytics, you're right there at the top of the country in a lot of categories. So how does it feel about this team's defensive capability versus others that you've coached?
You have confidence no matter where you go, that if you're consistently doing it, that you're going to have a chance to win. And I mean, there's a bunch of numbers on this stat sheet that, you know, you would say, wow, we did this, you know, how did we win? You know, we shot 4 for 23 from 3, we had 17 turnovers, and we got a victory. So I think it shows the value of how hard we're playing that end of the floor, and just the athleticism and the length and getting deflections and challenging shots, and so it's at a pretty high level right now.
It wouldn't seem like you've had a team in your tenure that's played this hard literally on every possession, and even going back to the one possession where there are 3 guys on the ground and you force the ball off of them. So it just seems like on a consistent basis every play.
Yeah, I think the play of the game for me was Warren Washington diving on the floor out by half court. I mean, if I could quickly, and I don't know, it feels like so many things just happened over the last 2 hours, but that's one that stands out. It shows a level of desperation that we're playing with, you know, at that end of the floor. And I think the other thing is we're not like allowing some poor plays on offense to like leak into our defense and contaminate our defense. It's still, you know, we're trying to get stops, you know, and that's tough sometimes when you have some turnovers and you're missing shots and you're having a hard time scoring, and to keep going to the well at the other end of the floor, and we've been doing that despite, you know, some poor play on offense at times.
We've spoken in the past about players being bought in. What is that extra effort and diving on the floor? Can I tell you about this group and how bought in they are?
It's as connected a group as I've had, and just you know, they're you know, playing together, play for each other. I mean, we had the turnovers, but we had, you know, 15 assists, I think, so that the offensive end we're still, you know, willing passers and sharing the ball. It wasn't the cleanest game, but they, you know, they're competing at a very high level, competing very hard together.
Is there any update from your perspective on where things stand with Marcus?
At this point, Marcus has stepped away, and we're going to support him, and at the moment, that's all I'm going to say about it. Thank you.
So Warren, even earlier in the year when you're winning games, there still was an issue with the rebounding. What do you think was different tonight?
Tonight, I feel like that's a good question. I feel like it's different every game because, you know, some teams shoot a lot, so some games it could be long rebounds. Sometimes, you know, there's just an extra emphasis on guys going to the glass. So I feel like today, I just feel like, honestly, as a team, as a collective, we really focused on that aspect of the game coming in. Last year, I watched the film, and it seemed like we got out-rebounded playing them. So I feel like Coach really wanted to put an extra emphasis on it, and I feel like we just executed really well on the defensive end and the boards in general.
What can you say about how just offense may not be going well, but this team's knack for grinding it out just on defense?
Yeah, playing for someone like Bobby, who's just tough-minded and just a competitor in general, he always preaches to us, like, you can't depend on scoring, and you can't look at scoring as something to, like, judge whether you played good or not. So I feel like we all just want to win, and to win, we got to play defense. Defense wins championships. So I feel like we're just following the blueprint that Bobby planned for us.
To that point, you had the dive on the floor that Bobby said was a key point in the game. What's it like when you see, you're doing that, your teammates are doing that kind of stuff? What is it like out there?
It's actually pretty funny because, like, every time there's a loose ball in practice, like, it'll be you mishandle in the drill, like, everybody just dives on it. It's just that good habit we like to do every day, and I feel like it carries over to the games. So, yeah, I just feel like that's just part of our dog and just our identity as a team. So I love it.
You guys keeping stats on that?
No, we don't. Actually, we don't. That's good. That's a good little point, though. We should probably do that. That'd be fun.
It seems like in the first half especially, you guys were really locked in on defense. Just what was working so well in the first half especially?
I feel like we just did a good job of containing some of the key players. Ingram had a solid game. I feel like we did a good job of just containing him in the first half. Other guys, too. I just feel like we were just everywhere, flying everywhere. And the guards did a great job of switching and just doing the game plan that Coach put forward for us.
Bobby mentioned that you guys are playing with desperation here early on in the season. It's a long season. How do you keep that desperation going throughout the Pac-12?
Well, you just got to take one game at a time. You can't think about the last win. You can't think about the last loss. It's got to be 50-50 whether you win or lose. You got to stay balanced, and you got to go into the next game free-minded and not thinking about anything and just thinking about winning that game.
You've seen Desmond do some of the things that he did tonight quite a bit. And what is it about him, his personality, or the alpha thing that
I love playing with Dev. I've gotten the privilege to play with Dez for like 4 years or something like that. So I actually knew what to expect with Dev, but it's just refreshing playing with someone like him because he does a little bit of everything and he just wants to win, like I've been saying.
Well, you guys are, I meant Desmond though, like just the shooting that he's provided.
Oh, you talking about Desmond?
Yeah.
My fault.
Yeah,
Desmond. My fault. I thought I heard that, but yeah, Dez. Like we all know what Dez brings to the table. He's a scorer. He's a dog. He's an alpha, and I feel like we follow him as a group and as a team. We follow that, and I feel like it carries over just with all of us, and it rubs off.
Did that really help the chemistry of the team because you have a lot of players in the transfer portal, but you know Dev really well. You know Dev even pretty well. I mean, do you think kind of help like the chemistry come together maybe faster than people think it would?
Most definitely, and I feel like it's credit to Coach Hurley too because he found the right pieces and he knew what he wanted coming into this offseason and what he wanted to work on, and he brought in us, and the rest is history. So.
And Desmond Cambridge Jr. is joining us. Continue questions.
This one's for both of you guys. The lead got up to 13 at one point. Stanford even got a 1-point advantage down the stretch. Was there any sort of panic within the team?
Personally, no, because I feel like it's a game of runs, and they were going to go on a run regardless. We just had to weather the storm, and I feel like we did that a little bit later on. And I expected it's a game of runs, and we just got to do our best to contain when they come on the run. So I thought we did a good job of that later on in the second half.
That being said, I mean, like you're saying later in the second half, but even when they made the run, I mean, did you feel offensively, I mean, that's the first half went on, even in the second half, they're getting more and more frustrated with your guys' overall team defense?
You want me to answer that? I just feel like we had like when they started making a run, we had a couple of hiccups on offense, and I feel like we were just kind of lost, and we just had to come back as a unit and just calm down and relax because, like you guys said, we have a bunch of transfers, new guys, and situations like that are perfect for us because we got to learn how to build and work on stuff that we need to work on. So I felt like that was just a good learning experience.
Desmond, in a game like that, do you feel like, okay, we need to start getting some offense here and there's like almost like a takeover mentality that happens at all?
I mean, it definitely situational. So I got those first 2 fouls at the start of the second half, so I was watching a lot of their comeback. And so I'm just sitting there fuming on the bench, like, you see, I'm very energized, so I felt like we need a little spark, and so I came in, hit those 2 shots, and especially if I'm hitting shots, I can bring us together, just give us a spark because we're gonna play defense, consistently. But if your shot's not falling on offense, it can really, take a toll mentally, and you might have some lapses on defense just because you're not playing as well on offense.
So because you hit that winning shot in Colorado just a few nights ago, did you come in with more confidence, or are you just the type of guy that just like flushes that away? It's a new game, doesn't matter.
I definitely used to be a guy who, but I've been doing this for a long time. This is my 6th year in college, so you got to stay poised. You never get too high, never get too low, and we're just here to win games consistently and figure out a way to win because if we win, everyone on our team is going to reap the benefits. So that has been my thing since I got here. So
before the season began, you said that you just felt like this team, it was their year, given everything that they had gone through these past couple of seasons. Given the early success, how has that sort of reinforced your mindset and I guess your vision for where this team can go?
I just feel like it speaks to the guys that we got on our team because coming in, we got a lot of talented players, a lot of guys who could put the ball in the rim, in the hole, and I just feel like it goes to show the unselfishness and the fact that we could play a role because a lot of guys are out here trying to get their stats and all that, but we're out here trying to get wins. That's all it is.
You guys have managed to start 2-0 in the Pac-12 despite I think it's 9 for 49 from 3. Is that a concern at all, changing shot selection, or is it something where, hey, when we heat up, then we'll be really scared?
Man, that's a hard question for me personally because I might shoot some questionable shots sometimes. But I feel like that's Coach Hurley's, just identity that he's had at this school. Guard you. I definitely like that. I'm a guard, so. But at the end of the day, as long as we play defense, I feel like we definitely, even though we have freedom, there's still structure in the offense, and you have to, take different people have different leashes. So you just have to know the flow of the game, and that's what I think makes us dangerous, because you can't really, what is the word? Predict what we're going to do. And so I think that just keeps us one step ahead of the defense.
How often does Hurley say that wasn't a good shot?
To be honest, I don't
That's a
think he
good
said
question.
that to yeah, I don't think I've heard him say that once.
That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't think I've heard that. That's funny.
Because I think he really just appreciates how hard we're playing on defense, man. And so when you got a coach like that, like, it makes you want to play hard for him. So I definitely commend him for that, and I love him for it. So yeah.
Warren, there were a couple times you and Frankie exchanged words after offensive possessions. What were those conversations like, and how was it playing with him as a big man?
That's first of all, that's my brother. Like, we're roommates, and like, we could communicate 100 different ways. So like, y'all seen it that way, but it's nothing personal. And like I said, we got like new guys on this team, and we're still grinding out and figuring out a lot of stuff. So that type of stuff is going to happen, and we got to go through that to learn each other's game and all that type of stuff. And we still haven't played our best basketball yet. So like, so that just goes to show like how dangerous we really could be. But to answer your question, that's all part of the game, and that's my brother. I love him.
How different are the expectations on the defensive end from where you guys came from? I know Desmond, a couple different programs before now, but how did they compare?
I feel like they were similar. Because they were still similar. It's just the guys that we have here are just more God gifted than other teams that I played with before. And so we're athletic, we're tall, and we can communicate really well. And when you have a team like that, we can switch basically everything, which makes things a lot easier. And we have good team chemistry. And so, like, you see Warren and Frankie, maybe yelling at each other or talking to each other, you have to be able to do that while you're in the game, but keep your cool, because when we're playing other really good teams and good poised teams, you're going to make mistakes. So defense is really more communication and effort. So you guys to,
Really talked about depth and being able to put you guys in and out, and maybe not. You said one guy got over 30 minutes. What do you guys feel like that? What is the team's mentality kind of going to that, knowing that you're going to go in short spurts and be able to give high effort and high intensity?
That's tough to scout against, because you really don't know who to scout against at like the other teams and another team's position. So I feel like that just really helps us, because it's going to be a different guy night every game. Like, it could be Des night one game, it could be Frankie's night the other game. It doesn't matter. But as long as we get that win, that's all that really matters. But to answer your question, depth, like, I've never really been on a team with this amount of depth in the wing position, and I just feel like it makes us really dangerous because my fault. What was the question? My fault.
What's the mentality with shorter spurts and being able to play high intensity with that depth?
Yeah, you got it.
Well, I feel like it lets us exert a lot of energy really quickly. It lets us guard people, full court, and really just disrupt their offense. Because I feel like Stanford and Colorado, they slower offense, like to move the ball, get back cuts, and if you let teams like that stay comfortable, they'll pick you apart. But that's why I feel like that's our identity. We really like ruffle feathers, really energize, and gonna make you work for everything on offense. So I think that's Coach Hurley definitely emphasized that today, that we want to, from the jump, disrupt everything they want to do, and you're gonna get out quick. So yeah.
For both of you guys, Desmond, you're obviously an all-around scorer, and Warren, you're obviously a rim protector. Who do you emphasize your game after, and like how much do you preach those former athletes?
That's a good question. I look at a lot of different guys and take things from a lot of guys, and I just try to make it into one. Because I feel like if you just take one player, that's almost impossible to do, because everybody's different. You're different as a basketball player. So I'd say I take it from just a different group of people, and I watch film on them and take little things from them and put it together.
And Desmond?
Well, Kobe Bryant was my favorite player, rest in peace. And so I definitely modeled, a lot of, because I shoot a lot of fades, just, shoot over people. That's always been my tendencies. But as I matured, I realized, I have teammates, so, I need to pass it on sometimes. Yeah, and so now it's really, just do whatever is necessary, really. like the higher you get in basketball, you just want to do more. Some people like to just focus on specific attributes, but I feel like the best players can do all around things, and that's kind of what I'm headed for, because I just want to play at the next level. So whatever I can do to help us win,
Thank you.
You guys have closed out 2 straight games that were tied or close to it in the final minutes. Now that the season has progressed a little bit, how much of a learning experience was that Texas Southern game?
I thought we weren't going to talk about that.
In a positive way.
Right there.
I mean,
You got that.
to be honest, everything is a learning experience. I definitely don't like learning from losses, because I learned a lot of stuff from here. Like I turned the ball over at the end of the game right there, and I'm mad about that, even though we won. I'm still happy, but there's always something to learn from. But yeah, that was just a real tough one, and I was the one who I could have Yeah.
That's a good spot to end. Thank you guys for the time.
Thank y'all. Thank you.